Yes, Michael, I am, but before we get to the actual interview of Michael Moore, let's take a look at some clips from the movie.
I had found one man in Flint with a secure job, Sheriff's Deputy Fred Ross. Deputy Fred seemed especially busy these days.
People stay up all night and sleep all day. You better get your clothes on. We're here to put you out. I put out some of my best friends, but nothing personal, you know. They know me, they know what I do, so if they lucky enough to draw me, at least they got somebody they can talk to.
What's going to happen to this woman?
End up sitting out, letting the new husband come up with the money. I can't imagine somebody getting married to someone as poor as you. It gets kind of rough. Two poor people in the same house. I always tell women you can be poor by yourself. You don't need any help. And she just got some help being poor.
The highlight of the parade was Miss Michigan, Kay Lonnie Ray Rapko. Passing by the dozens of boarded-up stores and hundreds of jobless Flint citizens, she was an inspiring sight to all present.
So you go past so many stores that are boarded up and people that are laid off. Well, how does that make you feel, just on a personal level?
A little sad, of course. I'm for employment and working in Michigan, and hopefully it's just temporarily. So I just keep my fingers crossed that they'll be back in working soon. I'm trying to stay neutral here. I'm going to Miss America in 2 weeks, and I don't want to...
It's a great day for a parade, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. It turned out wonderful. I can't believe the crowd. In fact, it's the largest parade I've been in.
Really?
And I've been in probably over 20. I love coming back to Flint. It's my third trip here, and I love it.
Any message to the people of Flint?
Just keep your fingers crossed for me as I go for the gold in 2 weeks, and hopefully bring back a crown for Flint and the rest of the Michigan state.
2 weeks later, she got her wish.
Our new Miss America, Kay Lonnie Ray Rapko, Miss Michigan.
Where are you guys going?
Oh, we're going up to the 14th floor.
Do you have an appointment?
No, we're going to try and see Roger Smith.
No, you're not. You're not going to get on one of those elevators.
Why is that?
If you don't have an appointment, you're not going up to 14.
Well, can we go up and try and make an appointment?
No.
Why?
I need Tony or Denise.
And the reason to talk to Roger Smith would be?
Michael Moore.
No, what's your reason for seeing Roger Smith?
Excuse me.
We're
I need to see you.
We're making a film. I quickly sized up the situation. 3 guards in the booth, plus the one with a corsage. A dozen security cameras and 4 new cars with inflated sticker prices parked in the lobby. If I made a run for it up to Roger's office, what's the worst that could happen to me? Before I could fully explore the consequences of such an action, my escorts to the 14th floor finally arrived.
Why don't you send a letter to us, and we will be happy to, as I say, take it under advisement, just as we do all requests to see the chairman.
Okay, it's just I've been waiting for about a year now to get this, I think it's been under advisement for a long time.
Well,
and so what I'd like to do is just go up to the 14th floor and set up an appointment with his secretary.
Well, that would be impossible.
Obviously, I was getting the big blow-off once again. I tried in vain to locate his house, but the name Smith was a common one among these people. I then read that Roger was going to be at the Grosse Pointe Yacht Club. I decided to drop in on the affair. Roger Smith.
I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen him here yet?
Just
You calling?
Who? Roger Smith?
Yeah.
You want me to call Roger Smith? No, I'm trying to get a hold of the manager to see if anybody knows anything about him.
I'm sure he said the Grosse Pointe. I mean, it wasn't him.
Can we?
It was...
Who? His office?
Yeah, his office.
Why don't we call his office and
Yeah, I
find
could do
out?
that.
I have a television crew down here with Michael Moore. He's supposed to meet Roger Smith at noon. I have no information.
How often does Mr. Smith come here for lunch or dinner?
The last time I saw him here was for Sportsman's Night.
Yeah, what's that?
It's a wild game dinner.
Yeah. You go out and shoot your own animal and...
Pardon me?
You go out and shoot your own the animals you shoot, you bring here and eat, or...
Well, some of the stuff is donated.
Yeah.
Yeah. The foods like rattlesnake and, let me think of some real exotic foods. Alligator.
Eat this stuff here?
Roast beef.
Yeah, that sounds better. Meanwhile, the more fortunate in Flint were holding their annual Great Gatsby party at the home of one of GM's founding families. To show that they weren't totally insensitive to the plight of others, they hired local people to be human statues at the party.
So what's it like here in Flint these days? Well, things are tough here for the people that are laid off. There's still people working, and I don't think it's as bad as people may believe. So what advice do you have for those who are having a rough go of it?
Get up in the morning and go do something. Start yourself. Get your own motor going. There's things to do out there.
I don't think it's real fair to just pick on the very negative things and publicize them and not pick up any of the really good aspects of Flint.
What are some of the good aspects of Flint?
The ballet. Your kids were involved in that.
Ballet, hockey. It's a great place to live.
You don't usually think of tourist attraction when you think of Flint, but people here in Flint would like to change that, and they're willing to go to some pretty extreme lengths. Flint officials would like to see the local tourist economy explode.
We've got some great facilities as far as places to stay, interesting places to see, museums, and it's a nice community to visit.
This is our visitor's logbook. I see West Germany here, Australia. Jackie, what are some of the things that visitors ask us here?
First off, where is the bathroom? That's the question I get asked most.
Are you happy with the outcome of Roger Me?
Oh, I'm very happy. It's way beyond anything I could have hoped for. I mean, you know, I thought people would like it. I mean, when I was making, and I thought the time was right. I thought, you know, there really needed to be a response to the 80s. You know, the 80s wasn't just a decade for the yuppies. You know, there was a lot of people in the 80s that didn't do very well, and we don't see their stories on the evening news.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I wanted to tell their story.
Now, looking at 20/20 hindsight, would you change? What would you change in the movie if you could have changed something before it went across? Would you change anything?
I would have dropped 50 pounds. That's about it. No, I wouldn't change a thing.
Anything you'd
Not
want
a thing. Honestly, God, not a thing. I've looked at that, you know, and the first few times I saw it, I kept looking like, yeah, you know, yeah, and I said to myself, no, it's just the way I want it. It tells just the story I want to tell, and you know, about all I need to do is get out and run around the block a little bit, and I'll live a long life.
So, what's your reaction to what people are saying about the movie and everyone else's reaction? What's yours?
Well, my reaction's great. I mean, here in Flint, the response has been fantastic. It's been, you know, I think if you saw the Donahue show, I think it was a good indication of the pro and con on the movie, and the people who were for the movie, I think, outnumbered the people against it 5-1. So it was nice to see that, and I get great response from everybody on the street. You know.
Your success on Roger and Me is going to pour over in your next film. You think it's going to encourage sales or discourage to some people?
Well, no, yeah, I think it'll be a big help. I think especially on video. Warner Brothers is going to be shipping close to 100,000 copies of this videotape, and they say that each videotape rents maybe 100 times. You know, and if 2 or 3 people see each time it's rented, that means 20 to 30 million people will see Roger Me just on videotape. So I think I'm very happy about that, and I'm sure it'll help the next movie. You know, if I get out and run, I think that's the critical thing, because you know, otherwise it's not doing much for me. I'm not getting any dates or anything. You know.
Oh.
That's been rough.
Okay. Now the amount of money that you've gained on this,
yeah.
You know, have you been approached by any filmmakers about financial support, such as the Center for Alternative Media? I know that.
Oh yeah, no. A lot of people have written, and we're going to give out $100,000 a year indefinitely.
Where are you spending your money? Where's this money going to?
Right now, I've already given money to documentary films on the homeless, a documentary film that's being made on the U.S. invasion of Panama, a documentary that's being made on the Middle East. I've given money to the National Union of the Homeless, homeless shelters around the country. I've given money to the New Directions movement within the UAW. This is in the first few months. So.
Anything that goes to charity or?
Well, those are all charities. You see, I have a different view of charity than most people probably.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in groups that are actively involved in trying to change things and not just put Band-Aids on the problem. You know, it's one thing to provide free turkeys for the poor every Thanksgiving. It's another thing to get out there and politically organize to permanently change things so that we don't have people starving in this country. And that's really what I prefer to do. And I'm going to give money to candidates next year in the Flint elections. I'm going to give money to the group that's going to hopefully start the Flint Voice back up. So anything I can do to try and help things, that's what I'm going to do with it.
Let's talk about the Flint Voice. Are you going to have any, besides giving money, are you going to run it or?
No.
Anything like that?
No. I mean, I might write. I'll write for it, but I'm not going to be the editor. It'll have to be somebody else. Because I'm going to be making movies. This is a full-time job. So, but I really hope, because there already is a group of people that wants to get it going. They just haven't found somebody to be the editor. So, are you looking for a job?
Next question. What was it like to have the national spotlight on Donahue, David Letterman, and Arsenio Hahn? I mean, you can't be mad at the attention that you've received.
No, I mean, all those shows helped the movie. The day after the Donahue show aired nationally, the attendance for Roger Me went up 150%. It was incredible to see the admissions to the theaters the day after Donahue. What that did for the movie, it was fantastic, and it was nice to Arsenio Hall, to meet him. He's a nice guy, Letterman, nice guy. Jay Leno, great guy, Harry Smith, CBS Evening News, a real jerk. No, the CBS Morning News, that's what it was. Yeah,
Now, have you gotten any fan mail? Do you think that you would with all the attention?
I get about 100 letters a day. I get an average of 100 to 120 phone calls on my answering machine a day.
You return those calls?
120 calls a day? Are you crazy?
Do you return any of those calls?
I return very few of them at this point because I've been on the road.
Now, if you were Roger Smith, and you had someone like yourself, the same thing, how would you handle it?
Oh, I think he should have talked to me. I mean, I think other corporate executives would have talked to me. I think, but what was he going to say? I mean, he was in a funny position. Here he was making $5 billion in profits a year for the company, record profits, #1 Fortune 500 company in the world, and at the same time he's laying off tens of thousands of people. How did that happen? You're supposed to lay off people when you're losing money. The American dream used to be that if you worked hard and the company prospered, you prospered. Now it's you work hard, the company prospers, you lose your job. That is the weirdest equation that makes no sense at all, and it's ruined the lives of thousands of families here in Flint. You throw 30,000 people out of work, you have more divorce, more suicide, more drug abuse, more alcoholism, all the things that go with high unemployment. And I don't want to live in a society like that. I want people to have a decent life, and I don't think it's a lot to ask for. And again, we're not asking GM to keep jobs when they're losing money. They're not losing money. They're making money. They're making money. Why are they throwing people out of work? The light trucks that they build here in Flint, they're among their highest selling vehicles. Why is only one line working over there now at the truck plant? What's their excuse? And it's not an outdated factory. That's an excuse they love to use. It's an outdated factory. That factory was built in the 50s. That's not outdated. What's the problem here?
Now, Roger's retiring, but you're happy to know that. Do you think you drove him out?
I'm not happy.
Oh.
I'm not happy, because I mean, we want him to still be in office when it comes out on HBO.
Well, do you think you might have driven him to like an early retirement type plan?
Are you another process server? Am I being sued by Roger Smith now?
No.
No. All chairmen's retired age 65, and his birthday is in September, and so that's why he's retiring. It had nothing to do with the movie, you know.
Now, I have to ask you this.
That's okay.
Okay. Sorry. But how do you feel about the allegations, the fact that they say it was not put in chronological order, that all the layoffs didn't happen at one time?
Right.
Barb Schroeder, TV 12 News, that was not Barb Schroeder, they say, and wasn't Nightline.
It wasn't really Barb Schroeder.
Well, it was Barb Schroeder, it's just a stage.
I'm going to give you an exclusive. It was actually a Barb Schroeder blow-up doll.
Was it?
Yeah.
I could tell because their lips are,
Yeah, that's
moving.
right. Yeah, and she was, But, you want to know what I have to say about all this?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you. You're a video producer here. You're going to do this little documentary on my appearance here. Are you going to air this on Comcast channel 17?
Yeah.
In the exact same order, unedited, that it happened in here today? Or
Should we? Yeah, we will.
Nah, you're not going to do that, are you? You're going to
We'll edit that out.
You're going to go back and let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to go back into an editing booth, and you're going to rearrange scenes. You may have this interview before the TV 12 thing. You may have an interview with a person you did over there before me, after me. You're going to do it in the way that it makes sense, because you got to tell a story that has continuity, that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Okay, and that's what we did with Roger and me, and that's what you do with all films. It's a phony charge meant to get attention focused away from what the real issues are in the film. If you're General Motors, if you're Channel 12, if you're the Flint Journal, and you have, especially if you're the media here in Flint, and you haven't covered the story about the loss of jobs, and all of a sudden you look pretty ridiculous to the national press because they come here to Flint and they say, it took a movie like Roger and Me to focus attention on the fact that 30,000 people lost their jobs here. Where was the media here in Flint for the last 10 years? Why weren't they doing their job? Well, they look pretty silly, so they have to invent things in order to get attention away from the fact that this is a true movie. Everything in this movie is true. Everything happened. It happened in the exact same context I said that it happened in. And if you live here in Flint, you know it. And ask anybody in Flint if they've seen this movie. They know that movie's the truth. Does that make sense to you? Or?
Yeah, it does. What do you have to say about the? I think it was the president of Channel 12 and then Channel 7 saying that in Channel 7 in Detroit saying that they did not drive away. They really did drive away the Nightline van, but it was recovered on time, and Barb Schroeder wasn't really there.
But who cares?
I mean, was it really?
The van was really stolen. That's the point. You see, the satellite van was stolen. Okay, and it's in the movie to prove a point, which is that we have a very high crime problem here in Flint, and that even the media isn't safe when they try to do a story on the crime problem. Their truck is stolen while they're doing the story. I mean, it's very ironic, it's funny, and it's sad at the same time. And that's why it's in the movie. Now, what the Flint Journal, what Channel 12 want to do is split hairs. What they want to say is, well, you see, it wasn't really ABC Nightline, it was ABC owned station in Detroit. It was their van. It wasn't the Nightline van, it was the ABC van. Who cares? I mean, does anybody really care?
Was Barb Schroeder really there live at that time?
Barb Schroeder was there doing a report at the time. We bought footage from Channel 12. We bought a ton of footage from them. We transferred it to film and put it in the film. I don't know what else to say about that. I don't know what do you think their problem is? I mean, I don't know. What's the big deal?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. There's one essential truth, and that's 30,000 people have lost their jobs in this town, and we've gone to hell in a handbasket as far as I'm concerned. And what's been the response from the politicians and the media? Let's build Auto World. Let's spend $100 million and think that 1 million people a year are going to come here and spend their vacation. I love this place, but I'm smart enough to know that 1 million people a year aren't coming here on their vacation. And $100 million, you could build homes for 2,000 families for $100 million. The $100 million they spent on Auto World could have built homes for 2,000 families. And as a citizen of this county, what would you rather do? Would you rather have this goofy theme park that's open on the summers, for 3 days a week that with teen dances that nobody goes to, or would you rather have people housed? It would seem like even for your own self-interest, even if you didn't give a damn about the poor, you would say to yourself, geez, it is in my best interest to have people working and living in decent housing. Because then there's going to be less crime, less drugs, less everything else, that's ripping our society apart. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right when you walked in here, there's people that greeted you at the door. Who were they?
Where?
Did they have to do with Fred Ross at all?
Oh yeah, no, it was a process server giving me he's suing me. He thinks he's a star of the film. You know. I can see, Hollywood agents have called him, wanting him to be in their movies. Seriously. So I think it's kind of gone to his head.
I guess that he claims that you said it was going to be a non-profit film and he wanted money
Well, I didn't claim anything other than to tell him exactly what we were doing, which is making a film about the economy here in Flint. And I didn't go through him to begin with. I went to Sheriff Joe Wilson, and we went and we filmed evictions that were happening out in public as news events. And, I've seen Channel 5 and Channel 12 film Fred Ross at evictions. How come he's not suing them? They put him on their evening news, they sold commercial time, and their corporations made millions of dollars last year in profits because they were able to, have Fred Ross and others on the evening news. Why aren't they being sued? You say it's a personal attack that's being financed by somebody else here in town, and that's the story that'll come out when some media person wants to dig into it. And if you look at this lawsuit, they're not suing Warner Brothers. That's very odd. Warner Brothers owns the film. Warner Brothers has the money. The first thing they teach you in law school is you sue the deepest pockets. You sue the deepest pockets. Why aren't they suing Warner Brothers? Why are they just suing me? What's the point here? So he's not going to get one nickel, not one nickel, as far as I'm concerned. And in fact, as I said to Channel 12 earlier, what I will do is, in addition to having already paid the rent for the 4 families in the film that were evicted, I've got their rent paid for the next 2 years. I'll pay the first month's rent of, I sound like the guy on New York Carpet World. I'll pay until Saturday, a one-time only sale. The guy's on every week saying it's a one-time only sale. Next week, starting on Monday, for 5 days, whoever's evicted by this man, I'll pay their first month's rent, up to $400. I don't know. Is that? I don't know what are homes renting for now these days. $400 good enough?
$900.
Come on. Where do you live?
Well, we wish you the best of luck in hoping your trial too.
And my trial? Yeah. Hey, no. Where's my other? I just got sued again here while we were sitting here. Where's the other one?
Even as we speak.
Even as we speak, another process server walked in.
You heard it first here too.
Huh? And. You know who that? Now this is a guy. This is the guy that bought the Michigan Voice house. Oh, you probably shouldn't. I wrote a little message to the process server. Anyways, this is the guy. This is the guy that bought the Michigan Voice house. This is the guy that bought the Michigan Voice house. He bought it from us 4 years ago, and he's just discovered that there was a $35.70 sewer bill due to the city of Burton.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that we did not pay, that Burton is now charging him $35 for his sewer bill, and he has now sued me for the $35. So you go to Davison, right? Mm-hmm. You're not in high school yet.
I go to Kersley High School.
Oh, you go to Kersley, but you live in Davison.
Right.
Why is that?
Because the boundaries have changed.
The boundaries you know what? The boundaries have changed.
I'm a film professor from Central Michigan University. I've seen the film 3 times, and I know that, for example, they talk about mixing up chronology, that the things aren't done in
like the layoffs all didn't happen at the same time.
Yeah, but if you watch the film carefully, you could see that what he's talking about is something that happens over 10 or 12 years. If you see the film, watch the film carefully, they show newspaper headlines. Newspaper headlines have dates on them.
That was very interesting.
There's not a lie in it. In fact, I don't think he went far enough.
I would like to have been his assistant.
The movie was a great success. Here, a great turnout. But the movies, they're just all rented out. At the Genesee County Rainbow Video, I'm Andrew Hahn for Hometown Movies. Back to you, Mike.
Well, it looks like a lot of fun, Andrew. Have you gotten your copy yet?
No, not yet, but I'm certainly in line for one.
Okay, thanks a lot, Andrew. For Hometown Movies, that was Andrew Hahn out at Rainbow Video. And for all of us here at Hometown Movies, this is Michael Kelly. We'll see you next show.
I think Michael Moore is on target. I think his analogy that he used, I heard him in an interview recently where he talked about, just like the doctor that you go for a physical examination, the doctor says, well, I'm sorry to tell you, Andrew, you have cancer. Well, obviously, you're upset, but you don't say, well, why are you being so negative? Why are you being so negative about me? Well, sometimes you have to tell the truth. And I think Michael Moore, in a very humorous and satirical way, told a great deal of truth about this community, a community that I was born and raised in.
How would you change the movie if you could go back and change it? Would you add something, take away something?
Oh yeah, that's an easy plan. What I did, I was in the movie and I was edited out. I would definitely put that part back in. I was edited out of the movie, which still kind of yanked me off to this day. I'm still a little upset about that. I'd have put my part back in. Other than that, I'd leave it exactly the same. What harm would there have been in making the movie another 90 seconds longer? Come on. 90 seconds, put me in there, and then I've been happy to see it. Although my Uncle Jerry is in the movie, which is kind of nice. He's